Hey Bearable Traders, Robert H here. Just wanted to share my 15-minute reversal strategy with you guys. As many of you in the chat know, I started looking at the 15-minute chart, and Andrew took a pretty good trade based on that today. I just want to give credit where it's due. So Adventure Dog LA was the one who told me about this. Many of you guys know him in the chat. Because what I was finding, I was trying to catch these falling knives all the time, and I would take anything that looked like a hammer on the 5-minute chart, like a hammer or doji or indecision candle, and I would find myself going long, and then might get a little 5-10 cent move, and then I would get dumped on, right? And then I was saying to myself, how do people trade these reversals that are just, you're catching a falling knife, or why are you trying to go long a downtrend? And I thought to myself, maybe our style of trading, we have very few indicators. We don't have RSI and MACD and all these crosses and all this stuff, right? Maybe that's why we can't catch these reversals. But then Adventure Dog told me to look at the 15-minute chart and see what's happening inside of that candle. Because when you see something on the 5 like this, sometimes it's happening inside of a huge red candle here. You're not going to get a huge reversal inside of one of these things, right? This is the bigger trend. This is the bigger picture. And when these bottoms are put in, they happen on multiple time frames, not just the 5-minute chart. You got to be able to see things on the 15-minute chart as well, right? So I'm going to go over that today. This is going to be a longer video. Hopefully you guys learn something from it. But anyways, so I've been calling this in the chat recently. I called them on GDS the past couple days. I caught one on YUMC, FCAU last week or a few weeks back, WHR, AA, ABBV. I took one on Teva yesterday. List can go on and on. But basically, my accuracy is now over 80%. And the marginal ones that I did lose money on were my fault. Either I didn't take profit fast enough, or I chickened out and stopped out too soon. So I'm starting to feel that this strategy can be highly accurate as long as you're able to read the indicators properly, right? And I'm going to go over that today. So basically, what you want to see is that something has sold off for a very long time. I call this a big time reversal or a knife catching, because the VWAP reversal that Andrew's taught us, I find that happens earlier in the day, before 10:30, right? So something it gives us an orb, it orbs out, and then it pulls back to VWAP momentarily, right? We catch that and then it goes back down. So this is a VWAP reversal, in my opinion, right? What I'm talking about are the big time reversals, something that's sold off for an hour or 2 or 3 or has been bleeding all day, right? And you want to catch these after 10:30, between 10:30 and lunch. Sometimes they happen during lunch. Sometimes they happen midday. They just happen whenever the stock gets too extended. It gets either too far from VWAP or it gets too far from the moving averages. Right. So here's my first one on SQ. This is what I saw here. I saw big sell-off over an hour and a half. Right. It failed to make a new low. It put a bottom, and more importantly, it put a bottom at a level that we had. 68, 63, I don't know where that comes from, probably the daily chart, right? Put in a new bottom. And then on the 5-minute chart, what do we see? Consolidation, failure to make new lows, right? So double indicator. You can jump the gun on this entry. You can go in on the new 5-minute high, or you can choose to go on the new 15-minute high, or you can go somewhere in between. But as this candle is being born, it's highly bullish, right? And if you're watching on the 1-minute chart, maybe you see this as some sort of a double bottom too, right? But this is what I'm starting to notice, guys. When I go long on these things, either the new 15-minute high, the new 5-minute high, what happens, usually happening before or after or during, is there's a moving average cross on the 1-minute chart. Now, personally, I don't trade this strategy, but I know many traders do, right? It's a lagging indicator. So I'm already long before this thing crosses, right? And look at this momentum it gave me, all the way up to 50. So if the perfect entry would have been somewhere here, 69-ish, I got in quite late. That's my fault. And then that's a 50-cent move, right? That's a retracement. It's a pullback to this level that I had here at 69.43. Pullback. I didn't take any profit. That's my fault. And then I ended up moving my stop and just trading foolishly, but that's not important. Anyways, that could have been a profitable trade. So you ask yourself, where do I put my stop? Someone emailed me this. Where am I going to put my stop? I can't put it all the way down here. The risk to reward doesn't make sense. And they're absolutely right. So we're using this as an indicator. We're not trading off of it. Think of the bearish engulfing crack, right? The bearish engulfing crack, we watch the 5-minute chart for the engulfing candle, but we're not putting our stop on the high of the day. That wouldn't make sense. We're putting our stop on the 1-minute chart for that strategy, right? Because it's a momentum play. If something regains the moving average on the 1-minute chart for that bearish engulfing crack strategy, then the move's done. It's not going to happen. Similar to this. So my stop is usually if this candle goes red, or we break the consolidation area here, right? and that's usually enough. So this is like a 20-cent stop. But when this is happening, usually this candle is going to die. It's going to lose its momentum. It might start going red depending on what kind of candle it is, right? So it can either be a engulfing candle, it can be a doji, it can be a hammer, it can be some sort of indecision candle, a shooting star, or not a shooting star, a spinning top, whatever this thing is called, inverted hammer, spinning top, whatever, right? So you just watch that, right? So on this one, I would have stopped out if this candle started dying and becoming red. Anyway, so I caught the pop and then I didn't take any profit and then I moved my stop, right? But what you want to see is this trend continuation, right? Then that's usually a sign that we may be headed back to VWAP. But worst case scenario, you get a pop to some level or some moving average, you take profit and then the rest out at break even, or when it starts trending down, making new 5-minute lows, right? So this one was my mistake. I hope that doesn't hurt my credibility. Now this is the second one here, okay? This is the second one I took on SQ. Right, so SQ, I saw it again it failed to make a new low here, right? And this is a really good indecision candle. So what did I do? I went long on the new 15-minute high. Now that coincided with, on the 5-minute chart, it coincided with the new 5-minute high on some sort of a bottom here as well, right? So I'm long there. This one, now we did catch a pop. We caught a pop all the way above the 20 on the 5-minute chart. So here I was smarter. I took profit off and then the rest at break even. So if you look on the 15-minute chart, we basically got all the way back to the 9 before the move fell apart, right? So now let's take a look at what happened on the 1-minute chart at the same time. What had happened right after I had gone long? This is after I'd gone long, right? It is you guessed it, a moving average cross, right? And then other people saw that. People on the 1-minute time frame saw that and they started piling in or whatever their strategies call for, right? This is the run up we got. All the way up here. I think we even got further than that. Yeah, we got further than that. This is when I started taking profit, right? So look at that. The moving average cross, and people who are trading on the smaller time frame, what are they doing? They're trying to ride this moving average for as long as it can go, right? And then the move falls apart and you get out. So that's the SQ. That's 2 trades on SQ. Now I'm going to do TTWO. What did I see here? 15-minute chart. Look at this sell-off. This is ugly. It's brutal. From basically the moment the market opened till the power hour when I took this thing, it was done for, right? Then I saw this. It couldn't make a new low. These are nice indecision spinning tops. Couldn't make a new low. 5-minute chart. Some sort of bottom being put in here, right? 1-minute chart. Double bottom. So what did I do? I waited for the new 15-minute high. Could have went long on the new 5-minute high as well, right? But I wasn't too confident because that's a scary 15-minute candle. Anyways, I got in. Boom. Right? 15-minute high. Where's my stop? If this candle starts being red and dying, the momentum's done. It's losing it. I would have stopped out, right? So boom, it popped up just like that SQ one, right? You want to be in on this big pop-up candle that it does. It's usually a big pop-up candle. That's why I'm calling it a momentum play, right? Boom, make still higher highs, higher lows. I get right out at the 20 here. I get some out, the 20, and then it dumps the rest here, right? So that's that was that trade. And we look at the 1-minute chart. This one happened, but it crossed right when I entered. The moving averages crossed when I entered, so you had the 1-minute traders piling in, right? What were they doing? They were riding this trend, right, until it fell apart, and I was on board for that, right? So then now I took it a second time. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how these things take shape, or at least what I'm noticing. So you're not always going to get a clean reversal like this. Rarely happens. I think we saw it on Intel the other day. Rarely happens. It's going to be like this. It'll do the booty thing and either go back down, or it'll do the booty thing and break out. This could give us the continuation momentum. I think GDS did this the other day, right? So I saw that. Even though I was out of the trade, I saw that on the the 15-minute chart. It was still making higher highs and higher lows. All right, let's take a look at this. Still making higher highs and higher lows, except barring that candle, right? And this trend was going to continue. So as soon as it started looking really bullish above this kind of flat top pattern here, I got in right when it broke out, right when it's about to make the new 15-minute high. Boom, right? Let's see how that looked on the 1-minute chart. Not sure. I don't think there's any indication. On the 1-minute chart, maybe some sort of a double bottom. I don't know. It's not my time frame. Hopefully someone else can comment on that. Some sort of a double bottom there. And boom, I caught that ride up, right? I caught the ride up, rode the moving averages, butt its head here, then I was all out. So that gave me a pretty good move. It got above the 9, almost made it to the 20 here. Got above both these moving averages on the 5-minute chart. And I think if given enough time a day, it may have made it back to at least the 50 here on the 5-minute chart. But you can see the market was closing, right? So it just ran out of steam. Anyways, yeah, that's the strategy, guys. So just as a recap, these are big time reversals. These are not VWAP reversals. They happen later in the day after continued sell-off, after things get extended. You want confirmation on the 15, failing to make new highs and lows, or sorry, failing to make new lows. You want to see double, multiple sized bottoms on the 5-minute chart, doubles, triples, quadruples, or consolidation areas. Right? And if you keep an eye on the 1-minute chart, see if those things are about to cross, because we want to get in before that happens, right? Before the other guys start coming in and giving it the momentum, right? Well, as soon as you're in, either 5-minute high or 15-minute high or in somewhere in between, if this candle starts dying, falling apart, you may consider getting out, right? And you want to see it continue to trend up on the 5-minute chart to trend up like this and see if it has enough momentum to get back to VWAP, right? And then if it doesn't, you start considering getting out on the new 5-minute lows. And then finally, sometimes it'll do this. If your entry is good enough, you might not get stopped out, and then it'll be it may end up being the booty reversal breakout, right? And this is, you guys are wondering, why do I call it the booty reversal? Well, it looks like a boot, right? It looks like a boot here, and then this is the boot. These are the shoelaces, and if it breaks out, think of it like a soccer ball or whatever a soccer ball looks like, right? And then it's just going right back to VWAP. Anyways, sorry, that's a long recap. I just wanted to get that out of my head because a lot of people have been asking me about it. And again, I mentioned this is 80% accuracy for me right now. Worst case scenario, you get some off during the pop, it comes back to your break even, you get out, right? Don't hold it like I foolishly did here. That was a silly mistake. So thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Take care now.